Volkswagen's Passat is the brand's bread and butter midsize sedan. For years, it's been a great alternative for someone who doesn't want the typical offerings from Ford, Honda, or Toyota. Last fully redesigned in 2012, the Passat continues into 2017 mostly unchanged. So let's go ahead and check out and take a closer look at this 2017 Volkswagen Passat. Now, the Passat has been in this generation for the North American market since the 2012 model year, and it received a mid-cycle refresh just a couple of years ago, which included refreshed exterior styling details, and then you also did get new updated features. But you could certainly tell that this vehicle is getting a little long in the tooth, especially when it comes to the styling of it. Many vehicles in the mid-size sedan class have very stylish exterior designs, but you can get some nice styling details on the Passat here, including LED daytime running lights as well as LED headlights. But overall, I certainly think that it's a pretty bland looking vehicle, especially when you compare it to vehicles like the new Chevrolet Malibu, the Hyundai Sonata, Kia Optima, and even the Ford Fusion. Now, not much has changed for the 2017 model year except for that the SEL trim level has been discontinued, and some standard and optional equipment has been shifted around between the trim levels. Now, here goes the key fob design for the vehicle. You do have a switchblade key, and you have your lock to release your trunk as well as your unlock. Your panic alarm is located on the side right here. Now, this color is known as the Fortana Red. And our trim level of the Passat we have here is the SE trim level. And you have a full-on beige leatherette interior. I love the brown piping on the seats here. Gives it much more contrast. And you also do have your power driver's seat with power recline and power lumbar. And I love the leatherette in Volkswagens. It imitates real leather pretty well. All right, now stepping on inside of the Passat here, features a pretty simplistic but pretty stylish interior design, even after being on the market for 5 years now without a full redesign. Still pretty stylish, and I love the wood grain interior trim. Now you do have push button ignition. Just put your foot on the brake and hit the button to start. And what you're hearing there is a 1.8 liter turbocharged 4-cylinder. Now you do have a full leather wrap steering wheel. Coming to your transmission, 6-speed automatic here with manual shiftability. And when you put the vehicle into reverse, displays your rear view camera with guidance lines. And let's go ahead and turn on the hazards. Let's go ahead and check out the exterior of the Passat. And you have an automatic driver's side window. Let's go and pop up the hood and check out the engine bay. Heated exterior mirrors with LED turn signal indicators, and you also do have blind spot detection. Now, the Passat is the largest sedan that you can buy in Volkswagen's model lineup here in North America, but it's not the most expensive one. That title belongs to the CC. You also do have alloy wheels, of course, which have a pretty conservative design to them. Coming up front, halogen headlights. And like I said, you can get LED headlights on the Passat. Overall, it's a pretty inoffensive looking front end when you compare it to some other vehicles in the midsize sedan class. Now, powering the Passat here is your base powertrain. It's a 1.8 liter turbocharged inline 4-cylinder that produces 170 horsepower at 6,200 RPM and 184 pound-feet of torque at 1,500 RPM, with EPA estimates being an okay 23 in the city and 34 on the highway. Now, when you compare it to some other vehicles in the midsize sedan segment, like the Honda Accord and Nissan Altima, they get much better fuel economy numbers with their 4-cylinder engines. But what's nice about the Passat is that you can get a 3.6 liter 6-cylinder engine on here that produces considerably more power if you're looking for more power. Competitors of the Passat, you have the vehicles in the midsize sedan class. Of course, this includes the likes of the Toyota Camry, Ford Fusion, Honda Accord, the Chevrolet Malibu. You also do have the Subaru Legacy, Mazda 6. There's many vehicles in this class. You have a shark fin antenna. It's pretty handsomely styled in the rear. And you have LED license plate lights as well as a chrome exhaust tip. EPA estimates, like I said, 23 city, 34 highway. Total vehicle price, $26,750. Overall vehicle score is a good 5 out of 5. And the final assembly point for this vehicle might surprise some of you. It's in Chattanooga, Tennessee. And you have all of your basic powered accessories, power windows, power door locks, and your power mirrors. Now, interior quality is pretty good in the Passat here. It's pretty competitive for the class. There's plenty of soft touch materials, including on the door panels here. The dashboard is all soft touch. And the build quality is pretty good. Everything feels pretty sturdy inside of here for the most part. You won't find many panel gaps, which is nice. But overall, the interior quality is not too bad. Pretty good looking steering wheel for the Passat. Love the high gloss black trim. And coming over here, you have your cruise control, and then we also do have steering wheel mounted audio controls, Bluetooth phone controls, and your voice recognition. This steering wheel also does manually tilt and telescope with a pretty good range of adjustment. Now, one thing I love about the Passat's interior is that there's just plenty of space. I mean, I just have lots of space to just stretch out my legs inside of here. And you will even find that for the rear seats, which we'll get to in just a minute. But I found a really comfortable driving position in the Passat, and the seats are very comfortable, very supportive, and they don't feel firm, but they feel, you know, plush enough. And they have a decent amount of side bolstering, and thigh support is excellent. I would certainly take a long road trip in this vehicle. The seats in the Passat are firm but supportive, and there's plenty of thigh support, and side bolstering is pretty good too. Visibility is also one of the best in the midsize sedan class. There's plenty of glass area all around the vehicle. It's pretty easy to see out of the rear too, and I can't complain about visibility in the Passat. And what's nice is that it doesn't have a sloping roofline like how you'll find in some other midsize sedans. You also do have your glove box compartment. And coming right here, we also do have dual zone automatic climate control. You have your fan speeds, your temperatures right here with the dials, and then this is for your front passenger side. But it's pretty easy to use and to figure out. You also do have your different zones and 3-staged heated seats for the driver and the front passenger. Here's where you'll find your 12-volt power outlet, USB charging port, and an auxiliary input. A little storage cubby too. Dual cup holders, and you have your parking brake. Center console has an okay amount of storage. It's pretty deep, and you'll find a 12-volt power outlet. Coming up here, you have a manually dimming rearview mirror, map lights, and your sunroof with your sunroof controls. Then you have your SOS Safety Connect and the sunglass container. Now let's get to the main head unit here. Now, we've seen this a couple of times here before, and it's a pretty good head unit. It's pretty responsive, and the graphics and the rendering are pretty good too. I love how you could swipe on this head unit, as it feels pretty natural. It feels kind of like a tablet. Now, your different audio sources do include pretty much all the norm here. AM, FM, as well as XM satellite radio, USB port with iPod integration, Bluetooth streaming audio, as well as an SD card, but no one really uses that anyways. You also do have your phone. You can hook up your Bluetooth phone, have all of your contacts stored on here, and have an integrated dial pad, which is pretty cool. And let's go ahead and test out the voice recognition. Missed calls.
Missed calls. The telephone function is currently not available.
Of course you do have to have a phone connected, but the voice recognition does pick up your voice quite well. And coming to your menu, this is where you select all your different menus here when you click on this button right here. You have your App Connect, which is for your Android Auto and your Apple CarPlay. Volkswagen was actually one of the very first brands to have Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. And you have your images, which you can view images on here from your SD card. And you also do have your sound settings, many different settings that you could change here, from the bass, mid-range, treble. And you have your setup. There's many different system settings that you could change, from the display, language, voice operation, all that good stuff. But overall, it's a pretty good system, very responsive and easy to use once you get the hang of it. Now let's get to the gauges in the instrument cluster. Pretty traditional looking setup. I wish the font on the gauges were just a little bit bigger. But on the left you do have your tachometer, as well as your coolant temperature. And on the right you have your fuel gauge and your speedometer. And the center shows all of your vehicle information, of course. Pretty basic here. You have your fuel range, shows you what radio station is playing. You have your phone. And then you have your driver assistant settings, like your rear cross traffic alert, front assist, blind spot detection, all that good stuff. And then your language, convenience, lights and vision settings that you could change from here, snow tires, service. But I really would love to see a TFT instrument cluster in the future, maybe when they redesign the Passat for the North American market. Now, as far as the way the Passat drives, this vehicle is mostly all about comfort here. The ride quality is smooth, it's absorbent, and it's compliant. And it's pretty quiet, especially at highway speeds. Now, the 1.8 liter turbocharged four-cylinder can feel a little underpowered at times, and the fuel economy isn't the greatest either. I would certainly step up to the 6-cylinder engine, but most Passats are going to have this four-cylinder, but it's not too bad. It's not the worst four-cylinder out there. It's not the most powerful or the most fuel efficient either. As far as the way the vehicle handles and the way it steers, I mean, this vehicle feels like many other mid-size sedans. It feels predictable. You can feel for where it's trying to go. It's fairly easy to drive, but it's nowhere near as good as, say, like a Mazda 6. I mean, this vehicle really isn't, engaging to drive. If you're looking for that, I suggest checking out the Mazda 6, or maybe even the Ford Fusion. But it's all about comfort here. The ride quality is really smooth and it's quiet. Alright, let's go ahead and shut down the Passat. Let's go ahead and check out the rest of the vehicle. What I love about this interior also is this analog clock. That's a really nice, classy touch that they added inside. Materials and build quality do follow through in the rear. It's also nice is that you have a power door lock switch back here, which many vehicles don't for the rear seats. And the headrests are adjustable back here. Unlike in some other vehicles like the Toyota Camry, where they aren't adjustable. The seats are very comfortable back here, and one thing that the Passat really stands out in compared to the rest of the mid-size sedans is in rear seat legroom as well as headroom. I mean, the legroom back here, there's just plenty of it. I mean, it feels like a full-size sedan back here. You have dual map pockets as well as rear air vents and a USB charging port. And you have more of that brown piping on the seats, which is nice. And you have a rear center armrest with cup holders. But overall, it's a pretty comfortable experience. I mean, if you're looking for a roomy mid-size sedan, the Passat will certainly not disappoint. All right. Love how the trunk opens all the way up. You also find a very large trunk back here too. And the rear seats do fold down, 60-40 split by pulling on these levers. And you have your Volkswagen first aid kit. So with its available strong 6-cylinder engine, its roomy and comfortable interior, and its comfortable ride quality, the 2017 Volkswagen Passat makes for a pretty good choice for a midsize sedan, especially if you're looking for one that's really roomy and comfortable. So remember that this is Cameron Birch from Cameron's Car Reviews.